In the early hours of November 13, 2022, a small university town was shaken by a horrifying incident that left its community in shock. 4 University of Idaho students lost their lives in a gruesome manner, marking a tragic event that would be etched into the town's history. This account aims to provide a detailed narrative of the Moscow, Idaho University stabbings, recounting the events leading up to the incident, the investigation that ensued, and the aftermath that continues to shape the community. Moscow, Idaho, a serene college town, was the setting of this harrowing incident. Several University of Idaho students shared a rented off-campus home in this rural community, a 3-story house with 6 bedrooms. The town had not witnessed a murder since 2015, making this event all the more shocking. The victims, Madison Mogen, Zana Kernodle, Kaylee Goncalves, and Ethan Chapin, were college students pursuing their education at the university. On the evening of November 12, 2022, the victims were engaged in various activities. 2 of them attended an on-campus party at the Sigma Chi fraternity, while the other 2 visited a downtown sports bar. The night seemed typical until the early morning hours when tragedy struck. The victims, 2 of whom lived in the house while the others visited, were all home by 1:56 a.m. Between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., a horror unfolded within the seemingly safe confines of the off-campus residence. The assailant or assailants targeted the victims in their bedrooms on the 2nd and 3rd floors. The victims, Mogen, Goncalves, Kernodle, and Chapin, were found stabbed to death. Notably, the surviving roommates who were on the ground floor were not attacked or held hostage during the ordeal. At the time of the quadruple homicide, the 2 other roommates, Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, were inside the home but were left unharmed by the killer. The police report reveals that Miss Mortensen came face to face with the masked killer. According to Miss Mortensen's terrifying account, she had gone to sleep in her bedroom on the 2nd floor of the 3-floor home and was woken by what sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the 3rd-floor bedrooms. She told investigators she was in her bedroom on the 2nd floor of the home, the same floor where Kernodle and Chapin were killed, and was standing in the doorway as the killer walked right past her. A short time later, Miss Mortensen said that she heard someone believed to be either Goncalves or Kernodle saying, "There's someone here." Minutes later, Miss Mortensen said that she looked out of her bedroom for the first time but did not see anything. She then opened her door for a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room, the documents state. At that point, she said she heard a man's voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." When she opened her door for a 3rd time minutes later, she said she saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. As she stood in a frozen shock phase, she said to the man, who she did not recognize, walked past her and headed toward the back sliding glass door of the home. She then locked herself in her room. A disturbing aspect of this tragedy was the delay in reporting the crime. No calls to 911 were made until 11:58 a.m., several hours after the stabbings occurred. The call, made from within the residence using the cell phone of one of the surviving roommates, requested aid for an unconscious person. When the police arrived, there was no sign of forced entry and nothing appeared to be missing from the house. The investigation into this heinous crime involved the Moscow Police Department, supported by the Idaho State Police and the Leta County Sheriff's Office. Nearly 130 members of law enforcement collaborated on the case. Autopsies conducted on the victims revealed multiple stab wounds, with fatal injuries concentrated in the chest and upper body. Defensive wounds on at least one victim indicated an attempt to fend off the attacker. A detailed analysis of the crime scene raised more questions than answers. The victims were not restrained or gagged, and the walls were spattered with blood. The absence of a murder weapon added complexity to the investigation. The surviving roommate's description of the suspect as a male stranger, approximately 5 feet 10 inches tall, with an athletic build and bushy eyebrows, provided a vague yet critical lead. The public played a crucial role in the investigation, with authorities requesting video footage of the house recorded on the night of the murders. A dedicated phone tip line and email were established, resulting in over 2,600 emailed tips, 2,700 phone calls, and 1,000 digital media submissions from concerned individuals. By December 24th, the investigative team reported receiving at least 15,000 tips related to the case. As the investigation progressed, a breakthrough came in the form of a white Hyundai Elantra captured on surveillance footage near the crime scene. The car had made multiple passes around the victim's home on the night of the murders. Investigators traced the ownership to Brian Christopher Koberger, a 28-year-old man with ties to Pennsylvania. Further scrutiny revealed that Koberger's phone data indicated a significant gap in connectivity during the early morning hours of November 13th in Pullman, Washington, before reconnecting near Blaine, Idaho. This timeline coincided with the approximate time of the stabbings. Additionally, DNA recovered from the crime scene, specifically on a tan leather knife sheath, did not match any of the victims but pointed to an unknown individual. Using public genealogy databases, authorities identified a partial match to an individual with a familial connection to Koberger. Subsequent tracing led to the confirmation of his involvement through DNA found on trash recovered from his family's home in Pennsylvania. Before his arrest, Koberger was observed engaging in suspicious behavior, including wearing surgical gloves, disposing of trash, and meticulously cleaning his car. On December 30th, 2022, an FBI SWAT team and Pennsylvania State Police arrested Brian Christopher Koberger at his parents' home in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. At the time of his arrest, he was found in the kitchen, dressed casually, wearing examination gloves and handling trash. Authorities discovered a knife, a pistol, a black face mask, and ID cards during a search of his residence. Koberger faced charges of 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Brian Koberger was born on November 21, 1994, in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and had a varied educational background. After finishing high school, he attended Monroe Career and Technical Institute but dropped out a year later. Later, he earned an associate degree in psychology from Northampton Community College and pursued further studies, obtaining a BA in 2020 and an MA in 2022 in criminal justice from DeSales University in Pennsylvania. In the summer of 2022, Koberger moved to Washington State to pursue a PhD at Washington State University in Pullman, situated near Moscow, Idaho. However, less than 2 weeks before the murders, faculty members terminated his teaching assistant role due to concerns about his behavior. At the time of the incident, he was a doctoral student in criminology, having completed his first semester. Upon his arrest, Koberger faced extradition to Idaho. He was detained without bond at the Monroe County Correctional Facility in Pennsylvania until January 3, 2023, when he agreed to extradition. On January 4th, he was transported to Pullman, Washington, and then to Latah County Jail in Moscow, where he faced charges of 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. On May 17, 2023, the Latah County District Court announced that Kober was indicted by a grand jury on 5 charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. Despite refusing to enter a plea during his arraignment in May 2023, the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. On June 26th, the Latah County Prosecutor's Office declared their intention to seek the death penalty due to statutory aggravating circumstances. The repercussions of this tragic incident extended beyond the immediate loss of 4 promising lives. The University of Idaho responded by canceling classes and organizing a candlelight vigil. The community, initially reassured by investigators that there was no threat, soon became wary. Safety concerns led to an early Thanksgiving holiday exodus, with some residents leaving the area. Social media became a platform for speculation, rumors, and misinformation, prompting law enforcement to caution against the spread of false information. The families of the victims expressed frustration over the limited flow of information from both the police and the university. The aftermath saw the house where the murders occurred donated to the university and subsequently demolished. Scholarships in the names of the victims were established, and plans for a memorial garden on the University of Idaho campus were announced. The judge had set Kohberger's trial date for 2nd October 2023, following requests by Kohberger's attorney and the state. But, in a shocking move, Kohberger waived his right to a speedy trial, causing the trial to be delayed. Kohberger then attempted to have cameras banned in court, but Judge John C. Judge indicated that would not happen. In late December 2023, prosecutors then filed a motion requesting that the trial take place in the summer of 2024, arguing that the defense has had enough time to review the evidence in the case.